Hello and welcome back to Overbooked, and today we're going to be doing the stay home reading tag. This stay home reading tag was created by Ariel Basset, and I think she created it for the Reading Rush, which I'm pretty sure happened last week or 2 weeks ago. But you know what? I thought I'd jump on this bandwagon because I'm staying home and I'm reading, and it sounded fun. So we're going to do some questions, and I'm going to put the questions all down below so you can refer to them as we're going, and we're gonna have some fun. First question: how is your reading going while staying home? My reading is going horrible. I am not reading as much as I usually do. I have found that my motivation to read is zero, and I would much rather, it's so weird, I would much rather mindlessly stare at my phone, play games on my phone, and watch trash TV than read. You guys, I don't understand, I don't do any of these things when it was normal life. I don't get it. I don't get why I am so fascinated with watching every single Instagram story before the day is done. And I don't get why I all of a sudden need to watch Love Island, Too Hot to Handle, Love is Blind. Who knows? Why I bother with consuming these things instead of reading? Who knows? I don't know. So my reading could be improved upon. Where have you been reading at home? I've been reading around, I don't know, my entire apartment. I read on these really uncomfortable chairs that we push together to kind of make a couch because we moved our living room around to accommodate my now home office. But I don't really like reading there because it's uncomfortable. So otherwise I'll read on my couch and use the window as a light. And I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, so I will just read or listen to the book while I work on a puzzle. So I'll be in the kitchen. I had a puzzle set up on the counter, and the living room over here on the floor. I did it. So just around. It's not a very big apartment, so I can't really go far. Okay. Best book you've read during isolation. I would say that the best book that I read was The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, I think. That was just a really, really good book, and I really enjoyed it, and I listened to it on audiobook, and I really liked Kristen Hanna's Nightingale, and I liked The Nightingale better, but so far, I think The Great Alone has been the best book I've read in quarantine, or isolation. Whatever the hell we're doing right now. What's your favorite feel-good book? I don't know. I don't really have a favorite feel-good book. I look at my bookshelf I have books that I've read over there. I get all my books from the library. I don't know what my favorite feel-good book is. Probably just anything light, I guess. I've been reading and suggesting a lot of romance books and chick lit. And those always kind of make me feel good and happy, because it's just a nice story that you can easily predict, and it always ends well. So that's kind of what I'm going with. For the Asian readathon, I kind of really want to read The Kish Quotient or The Bride Test. And the author is escaping I can't remember her name. Whatever, I'm gonna do a whole Asian readathon TBR, so you guys will know that later. But those just sound so comforting right now to do. So I just anything that's just an easy light read is a feel-good book for me. Book you wish you could buy or borrow from the library. Okay, so right before this all happened, I had put a hold at the library for the book Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, and I the day the library closed, hours, I was at work, my hold came up. So it was beginning of the day, Friday, right? I'm at work, get to work, get the email, and I'm oh, after work, I'll swing by the library and pick up my hold. During the day, after lunch, I get an email from my library, library's closed. Sorry, guys. And I was looks like I'm not getting that book until after all this craziness is done. But, so for the longest time, I would have said, I wish I could get this book really bad, because I've heard really great things about it. But my library called me a couple weeks ago, and they're hey, we're trying to get people their holds, so we're doing safe socially distancing pickups during limited hours. So if you want, you can come get it. And I was oh, yes. So I'm really excited about this. Otherwise, I have a ton of books on hold on Libby, because for some reason people aren't like reading fast enough. Like, listen to your audiobooks, people, so other people can listen to them. So I have a lot of books on hold there, and I can't remember all of the titles. Like, I really want to read The Memory Police. I want to read Trick Mirror. I want to read She Said. I want to read what else? Oh, I really want to read the Bromance Book Club. Like, I really want to read that. That seems like a really feel-good book. Like, so I would really like to get those. Otherwise, I'm pretty satisfied with what I've got going on. Author you want to shout out during this time? I don't really know. Like, there's not like, I'm not really drawn to like individual authors, I guess. Maybe shout out to Celeste Ng for writing our Little Fires Everywhere, because now that you've worked with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington to make the Hulu show, it gave me something to do during this quarantine time. I wasn't super on board with the show, Celeste, but you know, I'm grateful you gave me something to consume and binge. And, you know, just shout out to authors everywhere. Like, thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for giving me things to read. Love you. So the last question is my Reading Rush TBR. There's none. It's over, probably, and done. And I have no books I'm reading. I think that I remember hearing about the Reading Rush last year and being like, I need to put that on my radar, so I remember to do that next year. Clearly, I didn't do that. Oh, I just found... Oh my gosh. You guys, so sometimes I make little notes and outlines for these videos, and I was like, the whole time I'm going through my little notes of this video, I'm like, what is this little arrow for? And the arrow is for the question, author you want to shout out during this time. So I actually have a better answer. So Celeste Ng, I do shout you out, but I also have some other people I want to shout out. In general, I just want to shout out, and it's not just during this time, I guess, authors all over, anytime. Investigative journalism, history authors. I think these people get slept on a lot, and I think that they do an incredible job of putting really critical information that we should all be aware of into a book that we can digest and learn about this information from a point in history that sometimes that we don't really know about. So some authors that I've really enjoyed recently is Heather Ann Thompson, and she did the book Blood in the Water, the Attica Prison Uprising of 1971, and I did a book review on that, and I just really enjoyed that book and its writing and its, you know, clear information on what was going on. And then, you know, I also read The Hemingways of Monticello, and that was by Annette Gordon-Reed, and she does a lot of deep diving into Jefferson and the Hemingways and all of that time period, and I really enjoy getting into the nitty-gritty of that. And then Susan Orlean, and she wrote the library book detailing the library, or the LA Library Fire, and Kate Moore, who wrote one of my favorite nonfiction books last year, Radium Girls. Just going into like deep diving in these points of history that I think get glossed over and kind of forgotten about. So I just really appreciate people who take the time to find these really critical and important times in history and bring them to our attention. So those are authors I want to shout out. And that concludes this video. So please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Happy reading.